Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? My name is Kevin.
And I am Javon.
We saw that, and we are here to talk about Antebellum, which just came out this year in 2020, um, with some phenomenal performances by mainly Janelle Monáe and
Yes.
our favorite people. So this movie, let me say right off the bat, the trailer, of course, hooked me, probably like it hooked everybody else.
Yeah.
It showed us what appeared to be a young woman going back and forth in time
Right.
between the present day and slavery, basically on a plantation.
Right.
That's that. I'm sure that was on purpose. That's what I thought it was. Just the setup of what was going on in the trailer reminded me of a book by Octavia Butler called Kindred, which is about that very topic, about a young woman, a young Black woman who is transported back and forth in time between the present day and during slavery. So I saw that and I thought, oh, wow, science fiction, Black people, a message.
Sign me up.
Give it to me. And again, I'm sure that was on purpose, which I, as I have shared before for some of our other episodes, it's great when the filmmaking team can put some misdirection in their films and have you thinking one thing and then it goes another way, but then you can look back on it later and see, oh, okay, no, this wasn't a plot hole.
Right.
This is just, what I was led to believe. And this is what really was happening. So when that works, you still have a viable film at the end of it, and you don't end up feeling cheated.
Right.
So for this movie, the setup didn't leave me feeling cheated. Because there is transport back between the normal world and this plantation.
Right.
But spoiler from here on out, it's not the time travel that you might have been led, that I might have been led to think it was. So
everything isn't as it seems.
It's not as it seems. There is a reveal about what's really going on here. And we'll probably get into it later. When that reveal came, I did feel a little bit let down. That I think what this all turned out to, what it turned out to really be, I think it lost some of its impact because there were things throughout the movie that spoke to what life can be like for someone in the minority population, especially little things that happen that it's hard to point to. You're a racist. It's hard to point to that kind of thing, but then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what was that interaction about? Was that what
or was there any meaning to it at all?
Was there any meaning to it at all? So that was pretty strong, and I really appreciate that this movie was able to bring that to the forefront. Because that's a thing that, well, if you don't know, that's a thing that you can deal with, especially if you are on guard for that type of thing.
Right.
You might second guess yourself as to, is this person doing this for the right reasons? Is there racism at play here? Am I just being touchy?
Right.
Or does this person have an attitude and that's why they didn't bring me my towels right? Is it because they have something against a Black man in a suit? Or is it because they just ran out of towels? That kind of thing. that happened a few times, which was okay. I appreciated that being there. But Javon, can you give us some impressions about Antebellum?
I felt that, and I feel that Jordan Peele, while amazing when it comes to audiences and the whole setup and a revelation at the end that ties things all together, is a blessing or a gift for his audiences and a curse for other filmmakers, because they try to copy what sometimes can't be duplicated. Every movie that comes out now that is supposed to be Black and is supposed to have a horror experience does not have to be a social commentary. This would have been better served, in my opinion, as just being a straight beginning, middle, and end with no revelation that makes you look at everything else before it. That is not warranted for your film to be appreciated for just what it stands by alone. And I think that they made that mistake And I'm hoping that we get back to the time where African American horror films or even thrillers return to the promise of great storytelling, great execution, and nothing else. That beginning shot with the plantation and the horses and the way that it looked and how beautiful it was a setup that led us into a film that didn't follow that opening scene with the beauty of the way that the horses look with the sun shining down and all of that effectively to the closing curtain. As we said, Janelle can act her way in something with the Muppets on down to something that could be Shakespearean. She will never be the person or the issue with what's going on. However, in my opinion, and I wonder if you felt this way, there was no one else in the movie that I remember. You've got Gabourey Sidibe as her friend. And tell me what you feel about this real quick. Movies, I think, need to save the role of the friend of the main character to either fresh faces or comedians. I saw what she was trying to do. Her character's name was Dawn. But anyone could have felt that responsibility. And what she added was pretty, she wasn't terrible. She's never terrible. Right. But at one point, do you say, I'm working next to Janelle Monáe? Mm-hmm. You see how she's dressing. You see how she's putting on these outfits. You see how she's crying when she needs to and looking stellar when she needs to. And it's not even about that, but I have to bring my A game as well. Mm. So with the exception of maybe the young lady, gosh, I can't think of her name. The woman who actually set out to kidnap Janelle's character.
Yeah, that was Jenna Malone.
Yes. As Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. I thought that she was pretty good. Mm. But everyone on the slave plantation, with the exception of Kiersey Clemens as Shoshana, mm-hmm. It was forgettable. Mm. What do you think about the acting as a whole in Antebellum?
I think the only person who was really acting was Janelle Monáe. Yeah. I felt that Jenna Malone's character was a caricature, especially at the end when she reveals her evil plan. Which, I mean, I guess that someone would have to reveal his evil plan eventually because of what this was. That in the universe of this film, this is really a theme park. So yeah, the evil plan would have to be revealed. It would have to be explained why Janelle Monáe's character got kidnapped at all, and why the guy who died at the end, towards mm-hmm. the end, why she called him Professor, and what was the point of that? So for whatever reason, the people in charge of this of this reconstruction park, they're targeting, I guess, Black people who get too uppity. So that would have to be revealed. But right around then was when I checked out. When Jenna Malone's character, when Elizabeth is revealing the entire plan about how she didn't want Janelle Monáe's character because I guess it would draw too much attention, and she's talking to nobody in the middle of this forest about how we got all y'all and something. So I started to check out around then. She's the only other character who I really noticed. I feel this was Janelle Monáe's film, as it should have been. I mean, she's great. She was great in this. With Dawn, with Gabourey Sidibe's character. I mean, outside of the film, mm-hmm. I appreciated that Gabourey Sidibe had a role to play where it wasn't. And I know she probably hasn't done this anyway, but mm-hmm. she wasn't, seen as a joke because she's not skinny and she's not light skinned. Because I think that's a role that has not been afforded to Black women up until recently.
Great point.
Especially someone who's not skinny.
Right.
larger Black women are usually seen as a joke for being large.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that didn't happen here.
Right.
Now, within the film, there was way too much time on her being the fun friend who we go look at and laugh at because she's being funny. I agree with you that someone else could have done that.
Right.
And I think it was too much of that role anyway. So anyone else could have done it.
Yeah.
I still would have wanted less of that because kind of like what you were saying about what Lil Rel did in Get Out.
Yes.
So every time that Dawn was on screen, the movie stopped.
It paused.
And I do not see what that role added to the movie at all.
Exactly.
I don't see it. So every time she came on, I'm like, okay, wrap it up, please. Let's get to some plot. Because like I was saying, I wanted this to be a time travel movie. So I wanted to know when the time travel is happening. I wanted to know where it's happening. I wanted to know who's in control of going back and forth. Because obviously, since I still thought the plantation was the past and the city was the present.
Me too.
I'm like, who's in control of this? Is there a portal somewhere? Does someone press a button? Do they go to certain coordinates?
Exactly.
Is someone on either end monitoring when people get over to the other side and go back? How do you do that? Does it have something to do with the bouquet of flowers and cotton
that were
balls
delivered to her? Yes.
Is that in there? Is there like poison in the flowers?
It wasn't.
Does it make you go to sleep? And then does it pull you into the past? I'm doing all these things, not noticing that all these slaves are a little too modern looking to actually be slaves.
Right, with the hair.
I miss the hair, especially the hair. Especially like the first one on screen. With that haircut, I was like, okay, haircut, okay, I can buy the haircut. But the nose ring, I'm like, wait a minute. What's up with that nose ring? Because I'm like,
and I wonder if some people caught that.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying before that. I thought some of these things were like plot holes, and they weren't because this is all modern. That's something,
right.
So I thought that was clever. You got these little touches of modern in there.
You got the cell phones.
You got the cell phones. I think by the time that was revealed, it was all coming apart anyway. And they end up revealing it. Okay, so this is not the past. Oh, right. But I was thinking about even seeing the trailers. Yeah, Janelle Monáe's hairstyle was like, that's way too much hair.
Right.
Slave to get away with.
Exactly.
Why is she not bald? Huh? So that was just a question in the back of my mind, even seeing the trailers, like, what's up with that? Which made me, of course, think that it was time travel. But I'm thinking, okay, fine. She's in the past now. All that hair, someone's snatching that hair.
Right.
No one did. So I was like, huh. And then Kiersey Clemons' character, same thing with her. Her hair was nice and fancy.
Full
like,
and
like looking good. Even though she had been traumatized, she was looking good. I'm like, why is her hair looking so nice?
Right.
What's up with that? And so that was just a question. What's up with that? It is revealed. Okay. I think part of that ruined the rewatchability of that film.
I think so too.
Because when I watch it again, now that I know that despite everything that's happened, these aren't slaves. These are all modern people,
right,
who have been kidnapped. And that's what takes away some of the impact for me. That everyone's playing along with this fiction of a plantation because that's what this is. This is all a reenactment. So knowing that everybody knows it's a reenactment kind of takes away the emotion. Yeah. Not that I expect them all to rise up because again, the Black people are outgunned and they're probably outnumbered. I don't know if they're outnumbered, but they're outgunned. Right. So it's the movie's not gonna be a different movie. Yeah. But it took away from me, I guess empathizing with everybody because I'd empathize in a different way now that I know that, well, everybody knows this is all a sham. Right. And there will come a moment where someone decides to rise up. That person happened to be Janelle Monáe. Yeah. Who was already the strongest. So you kind of understood that. Yeah.
Who would go to a theme park like this?
I mean, there are places like that where you can reenact parts. It's just that these people decided to act out everything, not just fighting, North versus South. Not just that, but somehow, the people, I guess, representing the South decided to have modern day people act as slaves, but against their will, which who knows if the people who were playing the North knew that? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But that goes to impact again.
Yeah, because picture this, for example, you're someone who, in a hypothetical world, or even to the people who are paying dollars to come and witness this exhibition, you're someone who either works there or someone who is helping to put this on. Even if we slide ourselves past the reality of this film, even if you're part of a performance, with it looking as real as it did, you would imagine that the people in attendance would be leaving, gasping in horror, some weeping, some, feeling like although they were able to sit and witness a small sliver of what was supposed to have happened,
Mm-hmm.
it does nothing good. There's no gain at the end.
Exactly.
You're right. I only see them leaving in the rawest of emotions. I'm sure with the way now that you have critics and you have people who are so upended when there's something like this being given to the mass, to the public, where they say this needs to be cut. I don't want my kids to see this. I don't want anyone else I know to see this. This isn't fit. There's nothing that you're showing us to learn or to build off of. So I'm like, it's different if it was some sort of a play or some sort of a thing where going into it, it's going to be a tough watch. But the cast of people are from different walks of life. They've had different areas in theater, and they're putting on this whole performance as opposed to some sort of a rendition of the events that occurred around that time. But I don't even know how successful this would have been if it was really supposed to be this exhibition where people all travel to see black men and women and kids being abused, all in the name of this is how it was back then.
Yeah, I didn't get the sense that the part with the slaves was on display.
Right.
And that's only because I didn't see, normal people looking at that. We see when Janelle Monáe's character escapes.
You're right.
She runs right past the visitors booth.
And even then they were like shocked. Like
exactly. But we see normal people over there next to the gift shop, next to the entrance. So we see normal people dressed in whatever they're gonna wear. But we didn't see that anywhere else. We did see them at a safe distance from the people who were doing this mock battle.
That's true.
But we didn't see the other stuff that us as the audience saw, the people celebrating their victories over the North, whatever, and people getting raped. I didn't see normal people seeing that. So, but I agree with you. It's like, what is the use of all this mess? Why do people picking cotton? Since we all know this is the modern day. No one's making money off of picking cotton.
Exactly.
When everything that you all are wearing right now was probably made in Vietnam somewhere.
Sure.
At 1/10 or whatever the price. So yes, it brings up the question, like, how is this feasible? Which is why I feel this movie reminded me of The Village. It reminded me of a similar thing where there's this little enclave of the past, this little bubble.
Right.
But if you think about it for a minute, it's like there's no way this is going to work out, because my question in The Village was, okay, the rich people who own this huge estate, all this acreage that they're walling off from everybody else because they can't trust doctors. Okay, they're doing all that, and at what point do all these people who continue to marry and have children and whatever outgrow the borders of this little place set aside for them?
Exactly.
And even though they're operating as though it's a past, so they don't have access to modern medicine, even then, y'all gonna spill out into the street eventually. When does that happen? So that's what I think of with this. To me, this is like the Black version of The Village, that for the same things that you just brought up, all this activity is going away. Maybe it wasn't seen, but maybe it was just that well hidden. I mean, we know we know there was no good cell reception out there. Maybe this little the true racism town, maybe that was so well hidden that the help isn't gonna see this and isn't gonna stumble upon a Black person actually being beaten, actually being branded, actually being raped. And maybe, but that's where it starts to lose its realism, its believability for me, which is another reason which prevented me like wanting to see it again. Because in a movie with a twist like this, you might want to see it again to catch those things that I mentioned.
Try to see those little nuances, you know?
But I don't want to, because like The Village, I feel that it kind of falls apart once you know the twist.
It's almost like you were cheated.
Yeah, I didn't want to say
it almost feels like you were cheated, you know? I mean, you know, just to put it bluntly, because there was a whole lot of movie before that point that built you up to this. And you almost get the feeling like, almost like the Looney Tunes, you were kind of set over a cliff. And then when you finally look down and there's nothing under you, you plummet. And in this case, you plummeted, you hit rock bottom, and rock bottom is this sorry excuse of a switch up. Now, let me say, I had two different waves of opinion when I initially saw her kill her master, you know, by burning him in the shed or whatever it was. That's like the empowering moment, like, you know, yes, you know, and me still not knowing what she's about to ride out into. I'm like, okay, you know, I like the way that, you know, this is going. And as she gets on that horse and starts riding, that scene, which for whatever reason was part of the movie poster, was part of all of the trailers, even though you didn't know what it was to, but you knew that it was supposed to be something about her escaping something. The way that it was shot and the cinematography was powerful. But how about this? They backed up my feeling of being empowered by a revelation that was as false as or useless as anything could have ever been. And so to, you know, sit through something that's kind of mundane and take one person's acting ability and say it's stellar and everything else is okay, and get to this moment where, you know, now we're riding with you. And, you know, we knew it was going to come to this because she was so strong and she was so, her mind was so, you know, her will was too powerful to break. This was going to happen. And so when she's leaving, and then when you see that burning behind her and you see her, you know, get atop the horse and go to her freedom, it's like, yeah, get it. What is that a gift shop? So it's like you kind of want to see movies like this to see, as we said, the setup and how effective or how you could pull one string, one Jenga block, and the whole thing topples. And in this case, rewatchability, no. And I even stretch my mind to figure what Janelle read that made her say, this is what I want to do. Because now that it's done and now that it's out and people are giving their, you know, consensus, critics are saying that the film exploited everything that slaves went through just for one cheap revelation at the end that didn't leave people like, you know, whoa, that blew my mind. Oh, I got to watch that again. I got to show my kids this, much like Get Out. So what did it teach us? How do you make something about slavery entertaining? I don't, Kev, I don't understand.
Yeah, I feel that, especially in light of the moment you just mentioned, I think this movie had a few moments in it, but I feel that it was less than the sum of those moments. Because it's clear Veronica riding out triumphantly with the Union jacket on,
right?
You know,
that's true too.
She's yelling. She got the axe. It was shot in slow motion. I mean, that was meant to be a triumphant moment. I feel when she killed her master, the senator, and that other random guy who happened to be walking by.
Yes.
It was okay. I mean, the movie ain't got but like 10 characters with speak bars in it.
True.
And then this one random dude is like, okay, not even the guy who raped Dawn Not even just some random dude who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, I think that moment was meant to be cathartic. I think the moment when Jenna Malone finished her soliloquy about let's get all the uppity blacks. And then she's dragged behind a horse. I'm thinking, did I see this on the news last year? You know, and then up comes this statue of Robert E. Lee in the middle of the forest. I was like, don't you dare make her pull that statue down, because if you do that, that means you're trying too hard. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Right. It's like you're trying to match what's going on now.
Exactly. I felt that moments were being thrown in to match with things that were happening now, which okay, you did that, but please don't do it. Don't have her pull the statue down, because that's too much of that.
It's too spot on. And at least they didn't. But by then it was still already going way past believability, you know?
Yeah, and so then she kills her with the statue. I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess that was supposed to be, ironic. But I was getting tired by that time, because again, this was after she'd revealed her evil plan, cackling and twiddling her mustache all along with her. Right. But she might as well have had one anyway.
Exactly.
She might as well have had one. I was tired. Everything had been revealed by then. I was tired of the movie. So I see those moments, maybe they were meant to be, important, but I was getting bored by them. So when Veronica's riding out triumphantly, I'm like, get to it. And so then she rides past the gift shop and I had nothing left except, a little bit of disappointment because by then everything was a bit of a letdown. And I agree with you that this movie could have had something to say. Yeah. But when you switch it and go nowhere from it's just a theme park,
right?
Then you're saying nothing, and that's no good.
Here's the one thing, and it's weird with a movie like this, that you can only switch one thing and give a whole other realization of the events. Instead of making it some sort of a exhibition with actors and all of this, where they're really doing things in the background that no one knows about, why not have it be that the people were kidnapping Black people to take them to what would almost in some way be kind of like a sweatshop, where you're never seeing them again, and now they're being forced to become slaves for the greater good of this either company or whatever this thing that they're trying to deal, whether it's a product being made or a service being rendered. But now she has to escape it, not because, in realization it's some sort of a play being put on or something, but it really is this evil group of people who have been doing this for years. And you can even say all of the people who have been missing, Black people here and there who have, been shown up, on missing posters and such, have actually been kidnapped over time by these people. And now they're slowly starting to be found out because the first person, her, escaped and was able to tell everyone. So now you see the cops come in and see this whole thing be put, off of its axis, because this is something that has been happening under the radar of society by this band of powerful people who wanted to show, that although you're out of chains and although, you may think that you have a social standing as high as ourselves, we can actually take the creme of the crop of you, put you in, desperate measures, and make you for the rest of your life, for the rest of your days, work to service us. But they didn't do that. That changes the way that the end result would be, because you say, wow, I see now how, even though it was told out of order a bit, you see how she started from being, this powerful figure and giving lectures and everything, to being forced into this place that her ancestors were. And now, just as some of them had to escape it, she had to escape it. But don't pull the rug from under us and say, the whole time it's some sort of place where they're selling tickets. Make it that it's really a bad, company or bad group of people who are saying, I'm taking the most powerful of your people and putting them right back where we wanted you all along. So now they escape, some people get killed and everything, and now she's able to ride out and let them know to come back. And now as the scene is going up, you see the cavalry or see the posse or see the police coming into this island or this mountain or wherever they are to get it all cleared out. That's a better ending.
That's why I wanted it to be time travel.
Right.
I wanted this place to be in the past, because that's a way that this could actually work. If there's who knows? If there was a way for for her to come back to the present or be pulled back into the present, then it would have made a little bit of sense. This whole world existing. But since all of this is just modern and they're playing dress up, it doesn't work.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Okay, so having said all that we had said, tell us and tell the audience, Javon, your final thoughts.
Acting, I only have one person to give the acting credit to. She was phenomenal, but unless it's one of those movies that someone is out lost in space where they have to sustain the majority of the film, or even Tom Hanks being on a beach by himself, she had a lot of people with her who did just okay or below. The directing wasn't the worst, and I don't think that it was the director's responsibility. I think that he was supposed to, or she, when it's a woman, is supposed to take that script or that screenplay and do their best with it. Rewatchability? No way. No. And the fifth, this is gonna be bad, but the fifth element, if I had to decide, would be my frustration with the events that were laid out before me. I'm sorry, I hate to do it. I'm gonna have to give it, and I'll even say I'll have to give it a high awful. Okay. Gotta give it an awful.
Okay. I do agree with you that the acting really was only up to Janelle Monáe. Like I said, the other folks were forgettable or caricatures. What I didn't like about the plot, I have mentioned that this just doesn't work.
Right.
And that's why, again, I likened it to The Village, but with Black people in it.
Yeah.
And then I feel that movie, which I like the rest of it, I didn't like that part of it. The whole reveal, which makes everything fall apart. Script, okay. I think there was a lot of misdirection going on. Like even in the beginning, when the senator is asking her what's her name, and she doesn't say anything. Right. You go in thinking that means one thing, but it means something else. That he's trying to, I guess, maybe brainwash her into the whole Kunta Kinte thing.
It's a submission.
So it's into submission. So that was that. Like I said, there are things that I thought were plot holes, but were actually misdirection. So that's why I didn't hate the plot, but the resolution of it all. I kind of it lost me, and we've already talked about that. This movie leaves you with nothing, where you think it's going to say something, and then it really doesn't. So all of that said, I would put it at I saw it. I liked looking at the movie.
Okay.
But
I can understand that.
But what it did and what it said, I ended up not liking. So straight in the middle for me that I saw it.
Yeah. Totally understandable. And it's such a letdown, because when you see a trailer, you don't know what to take of it besides what's being shown. And with this, I know a lot of people that were saying, I can't wait to see it. And unfortunately, I haven't heard a lot of people who have been saying at the end of that, you need to go and check this out. And, first things first, even with giving something an awful, I understand, and I can only imagine, I guess, the process that it takes to create a film, to shoot it, to get everyone involved, and to end production, and for it to be a wrap, and to place it in front of people. But when you put it on my plate, it is now for me to either take in or push that plate away and say, I'm good. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you all feel about Antebellum? Give us your opinions, give us your comments below. Until this time, I'm Javon.
I'm Kevin.
And we saw that.